Q, how you doing? We're ready for semifinals.
It is semifinals time. We're halfway there, which means we've only got 3 fights left, which means there's going to be more and more on the line here as we are getting ready to get, again, we're heading down the home stretch here. This is the Inception, man, and we're already halfway there.
We are halfway there to declaring a victor. And of course, at this point, Q, you either get yourself in the championship matchup or you get yourself in that third place matchup. Both third, second, and first all pick up some cash money here for the tournament. But this is going to be a really good matchup. The number 1 seeded ipro, number 1 seeded overall in the entire tournament versus the number 2 seeded Majiq.
Yeah, we saw Majiq winning that, slobber knocker of a fest to start things off. ipro is in that one we were having some technical difficulties with. Did end up winning in 3, though. So really came out guns blazing and off to the hot start. So I'll be interested to see if we see a similar approach from ipro here. Because remember, Gangstology was one of those who kind of played the long game. So this is kind of a tale of 2 different stories.
It really is. Yeah, 2 different stories to get here, but of course we're still playing single elimination, Q. If you lose this one, obviously you get the third place matchup, but you aren't going to that championship. You will not be the first Ethlete Championship Series undisputed champion, and I would want that honor more than anything.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you've already made it this far, right? One, you made it through all the conference play. Now you've made it through the first round. I mean, you've gotten all the hard work out of the way, and I think especially when you look in this fight here, I think especially when I think about as far as for Majiq, right? I feel like for them here, kind of the first fight that you went through, you know that you're able to kind of weather the tides, so should be feeling confident here as well.
Confidence is going to be key, and let's get right on into it. ipro going in for a little bit of shots, I think, waiting for Majiq to connect on into this one, possibly wait some time. And again, we've been dealing with a couple of issues here or there throughout the day, so does look like Majiq back out here and ready to go.
I love it here, not having to worry about any disconnects. Let's get down to our first fight here. So we got Amir Khan, Sugar Ray Leonard here. 2 fighters that we have seen previously, not in the same matchup, but I am going to be kind of interested to see how they kind of square off against one another.
We're excited. Again, Khan got some speed here, but on this weight, we'll have to try and contest against the great Sugar Ray Robinson. Again, this fight is going to be 10 rounds of possibilities, so we'll have to see, Q, if this one goes the distance once again.
Yeah, I just realized I definitely said Leonard, didn't I? I'm a pleb. My bad. Yeah, definitely Sugar Ray Robinson, who actually we haven't seen here, but going to be interested to see. I mean, both fighters here, obviously relatively early, trying to feel one another out. I don't feel like we've seen as far as any big connection, but I do definitely feel like both sides have been able to, kind of score some points early.
And that's what it's about. Again, because we've seen a couple fights go the distance. Yes, you want to knock out your opponent. ipro is the player that's known for doing all that damage, knocking their opponents to the ground. But if you can just play that consistency, playing a little bit loose here for ipro, making sure to strike when they can, and definitely working off of that rock'em sock'em trade to get those extra damage towards the head, you can try and win this one early.
I like kind of the pace playing with there, also leading with another nice left straight. I think also got a second one there as well, but we see, I mean, the left straight doing so much damage just to kind of open things up. Hasn't quite really found a way to kind of connect with a couple of follow-through shots after that, but, I mean, is doing a good job of holding off the opposition here, kind of that bay with that reach.
Trying to hold them at bay. We'll have to see if that connection does go through eventually, but no, it's just going to be this one over for the first round. So both these 2 players, not too much damage, no cuts, no knockdowns to start us out. A little bit of trade shots, but other than that, mostly equal.
Yeah, it feels like we are seeing over on that Amir Khan side, Majiq working the body just a little bit. We did see that was something that kind of worked for them on the long game, right? In that first fight that we saw him in on the day. So kind of coming in with a similar approach. Meanwhile, over for ipro, definitely see being a little bit more okay with swinging for the fences, right? Doesn't mind leading with the jab, then trying to go for the big hit afterwards.
Trying to get those combos, really important. We talked about the rock'em sock'em trade, and it's rock'em sock'em 2, not just rock'em sock'em 1. So that ability to, if you can hit those uppercuts, if you can maybe do some damage towards the body, and then you get that 20% bonus damage Q, that can take somebody down really quickly.
That's like the rock'em sock'em boppers, right?
Yeah.
With the head now. But yeah, you did mention Rock'em Sock'em too. Definitely able to put in some work if you allow them the opportunity to. But it's going to be back into round number 2 here. You can see ipro trying to kind of stay at the distance here. And again, does have that little bit of a reach advantage. So if they can kind of connect with those straight lefts that we've been seeing them do time and time again and allow Majiq to kind of walk into those, we see kind of opening up some opportunities for some follow-up combos.
Trying to get those combos going to be important for both players. Once again, nothing super big connecting as both players just playing really patient, and I think that's important. You have some rounds to spare. Nice connection on the straight from ipro right over the gloves. Majiq gonna have to deal with a little bit of that damage, but both players playing their distance really well, Q. It's not like they're pincing one into the corner like we saw in one of the other fights. They're working that direction really, really well with the footwork.
Yeah, I'm really liking to see the movement here. I mean, both players really doing it well. We saw that was one thing that, again, in that looking back to their first fight on stream, that was kind of where Majiq was able to start turning the tides, right? Really kind of getting into the directional throws, but we do see some big body shots coming in here from ipro there. Not quite a stun, but you can see definitely feeling it is Majiq.
The chin gonna take some hits there. We'll see how strong can hold for the final 60. And now trapped in the corner, a good little counter and weaving their way slowly out. You see an ipro going a little bit loosey-goosey here for a little bit, trying to go for some more body shots. Again, you want to try and pressure the body, make your opponent drop those gloves, and then if you're gonna hit that big uppercut towards the head with the extra damage, only 20 seconds left though to try and find those combos.
Trying to lead in and trying to find those uppercuts, but still not quite being able to find. And right now it is Majiq trying to find the opportunities, the one shots here and there on the counter, but it is ipro doing a really good job of just utilizing that range. Once again, you see the straight lefts. It's the one thing that the one punch that seems to continue to land for ipro.
And you have a little bit of that range advantage as we're seeing here in the replay. It's not the biggest, it's only 5 centimeters, but it can make the difference when you have a fast player like ipro who knows their distance really well and can use that loose form. And actually seeing this, we've got a cut on the face of Amir Khan.
Yeah, things have already started, and that's only in round number 2, Llama, man. So we've still got plenty of fight left. That means Majiq gonna need to be able to keep the glove up, especially over on that right side. And I feel like when you've got the cut early, especially to over to a fighter that you already give range to, things become tough, because usually like what you want to do when you're losing the range is you got to try and find a way to close that gap. But now that you're already opened up, if you try and close that gap, you get caught one time, it just gets worse.
Gonna get worse and worse and worse before it gets better, unless Majiq can find the ways to open this one up. Again, Amir Khan very, very fast and versatile, but ipro has just used that range really well. I like what Majiq's doing though. Start to get a little bit those directionals, a little bit more towards the body. I think that is the way to get back in the game, and a huge shot there. ipro one shot to the body away from possibly being dazed.
Yeah, you can see, though, is doing a good job of keeping the distance, and leads again with that straight left, doing a good job of just really keeping Majiq at bay. Now going to close the distance, trying to kind of use that side step to open things up with a body shot. That's going to be an uppercut comes in, but not going to be able to catch him. And, I feel like things have definitely been favoring ipro, but I feel like Majiq is definitely not far off, trying to find the opportunities here. We saw was close off those couple body shots earlier, but it's so much damage just being done from ipro, just doing a good job of keeping the range away and continuing to land shots.
A lot of good damage from ipro. The cumulative damage of Majiq, though, throughout this round towards the body, we'll have to see if that does affect ipro in those later rounds. Only 60 to go. Some good defense here from Majiq, as he did hit a couple more of those body shots. At the same time, utilizing that range, as you mentioned, Q, just the pops towards the face, and then making sure to test out the body as well. We'll get to see how close this one is after the scorecard pops up at the end here, round number 3. I feel like ipro is winning, but like you mentioned, I feel like it's close.
I do feel like Majiq's definitely still in the running, but we do know that face is pretty opened up over on Majiq's side. It's the straight lefts that continue to find the target for ipro. Just continue to help away over at that right eye, and that's where you've already been opened up here. You got to try and keep this distance for these last 4 seconds. Another big shot coming in, trying to find it, and one more from ipro for good measures. And now we are 3 rounds through. I'm excited to see where the scorecard sits.
There was a lot of good back and forth here in this round number 3, but just like you, Q, I'm very excited to see how this one sits. You see in the cut, still on Amir Khan's eye, piloted by
Woo!
Majiq here. It is dripping all over the body here, and we'll see if ipro can utilize that towards their advantage here in the later rounds. I feel like ipro are just doing a really good job and recognizing the mid-game adaptations here, Q, from ipro seem like they're winning it for them, but Majiq is actually up in the scorecard.
Bro, Magic is being up in the scorecard is kind of surprising. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't quite expecting both of those first rounds to
Yeah.
go towards them. I was thinking maybe one of them went towards, but not the two. But now that means Magic gotta be feeling a little bit of extra motivation now having the lead. The only problem is that I understand playing from the red corner, but I don't know if I'd be trying to make my face match the corner. I mean, right now it's gonna be an issue for him.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that does clean up throughout this one. I do gotta say, clean is the name of the game right now for Majiq in this round. Really good damage and just kind of baiting ipro into these exchanges that are not working out for them. That you're seeing the trades that go to the body and towards the face, the cumulative damage that is building up over time. Definitely, excuse me, not helping on out. And as soon as he gets into the corner, using that low range to punish ipro towards the body.
I do like that iPro though is identifying the fact that Magic right now is mostly covering that face, so is
Yeah.
still able to get some body tags into there, but hasn't really been able to capitalize on using those body shots to open up any sort of combo. Once you're able to kind of drop those hands a little bit here, we are starting to see a couple of tags coming in, and surprise, surprise, the left straight seem to be doing pretty good, even with that little hook coming in as well. I mean, doing a really good job leading with the left.
Leading with the left, a little bit more shots to the body here. ipro able to recover from that early body damage in the round. However, dropping into that loose form provides a little bit of danger if you try to go for the power. If you get hit back, especially towards the body, you can start to suffer some big damage that can build up throughout this game. Trapped in the corner, but ipro, once again, just kind of scared to go forward. The body already at half HP, and Majiq playing this round really good. Probably another round that they won.
Yeah, they're definitely playing the scorecard, right? The eye test, I feel like, is still definitely trying to tell you that it's iPro. The only problem is there's really no defense right now coming from iPro, right? Like leading forward a lot with the jabs and trying to throw a lot of punches, but not really keeping the hands up. Really, instead, trying to eat a lot of the punches with the face, which over time is not a really good defensive strategy.
Definitely not a good defensive strategy. I gotta say though that Amir Khan playing the traits absolutely perfectly. Talk about the lightning hands combined with the punches and bunches. If you can get those counterattack multiple combos off, you can get them off very quickly. And we have seen the damage that ipro has faced here in this one. We're about halfway through this fight here, Q, and it's already shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, another one that just might go the distance here, but I feel like for the side of iPro, the big thing you got to do is start working more. Instead of leading the attack, see if you can bait Magic and to start leading
Yeah.
it a little bit and kind of go for the counters. You do have that range where you can kind of slip away and
Mhm.
still punish, sort of offensive attacks from Magic. Whereas right now, you're kind of leading forward, and since you are leading in with the hand, the face is left uncovered.
That is very, very true. Leaving openings here for Majiq on the counter attack, but it is so tough because it just feels like Majiq not wanting to go into those engagements. We're always seeing them going more in towards that red corner, more towards the side of where Amir Khan is located. So for ipro, just playing a little bit more defensive, trying to get back in towards their groove. You still have about half this round left to go, and you have that possibility to maybe get one of these knockouts again if you can hit those uppercuts. He's been testing the body, but needs to land some face shots here soon too.
Just trying to keep that distance, but is going to have to worry about the ropes here soon if iPro continues to be able to walk them down. You can see Magic trying to at least continue to duck and dodge and follow up with a nice little counter attack in their own name. And it is the jabs and trying to now also get the body involved as well as iPro. But you see for Khan, I mean, they're still continuing to take those shots to the right side of the face.
Lots of more damage done towards the head, and the adaptations once again from ipro. This is why only about 20 of those losses on the ranked career. So that ability to just be able to pressure towards the body, adapt, and move back towards the middle of this ring absolutely seems like a massive change for them. End of round number 5, and a one that was really, really good for ipro. Just the step back, using that range, and now Majiq gonna have to change up their game plan as well.
And now we're one round away from seeing those scorecards once more. And we're now officially at that halfway mark. You mentioned about potentially wanting to change up the strategy here. Our players don't quite have that extra long break that we'll see in number
It's true.
6 here. We are seeing them taking, kind of an extra second or two here just to kind of gather their thoughts. But man, that cut over on the side of Majiq, ain't looking good.
It's not looking too good. Blood is dripping down there, and we actually got to see it's a double right cut actually there on Amir Khan's side of the face. So he's not going to be feeling too good. We'll have to see what they can do as we kind of check in on their stamina bar. It does look like possibly Majiq's stamina bar a little bit healthier than iPro's. At the same time, with that double cut and that same ability with the punches and bunches, when you look at round 8 here as a possible flip round, if iPro can survive until then and do some great damage here, I mean, this fight could be over in the later rounds.
Yeah, Majiq though doing a good job to still be able to land some punches. Ooh, nice right hand there from iPro. Also stepping back to create that space and separation off of it as well. And now going to continue to walk down Majiq. Majiq has been able to kind of flip the ring around. And now though, continue to hold back, allowing for iPro to continue to close this gap.
And you can see iPro knows when to press the advantage. This is all the experience. Sees the head damage, puts the pressure towards the body, and then doesn't let Majiq get a redirection. You're dazed, buddy. And now iPro is going in for the knockdown.
There it is. I'm sure they'll be able to get up, relatively quick from the first one. Usually you can, but you know that you've been able to get a little bit of progress going. And now it's about seeing if you can get another one of those here in the last little bit of this round. I mean, you still have a whole minute to try and see if you can put them down once more.
Still got a minute, but man, Q, all those rounds in the previous fights that we saw that knockdown, it's at the least a 10-8. So you're losing some points when you've been playing for the scorecard and you're dazed once again. The body shots, the headshots, everything follows. And iPro's skill coming in clutch once again.
Able to get the second here. This is going to be a big round for iPro. We had talked about going into this that the scorecard may have still favored Majiq, but this is going to be a big round as far as on the point side. Also going to be big as far as on the side of momentum. 8 seconds left. You'd imagine probably not going to see much else. I would imagine Majiq going to try and keep the big gap between the two. Couple more shots coming in from iPro, but not really going to be able to connect. And I feel like with that last round, the tide starting to turn, Llama.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a double knockdown, so much damage. And not only that, Majiq has to watch. We talked about those uppercuts. If they land, you can be in so much trouble. Was able to get up twice and, good little connection there on the right and left trigger to get themselves up on it. But a double cut on the right side of the face, you see that head damage as well is already pretty much at 3/4 going into this next round. And you talk about on the horizon, Q, that you're a punches and bunches fighter here. You're not going to have the stamina to fight in these later rounds.
Yeah, these later rounds are not what you were looking forward to, right? So now it almost feels like if you're going to win this thing, you've got to find some way to turn the tide and really probably win this thing in the next 2 rounds, right? So it's got to be a monumentous sort of comeback, and with the sort of fight style that we know from iPro and the consistency, I just don't see that happening. I mean, we do see on the scorecard there already up by 2.
Up by 2, and that's that equalization from earlier. We were talking about how Majiq was playing very consistent, does have a pretty big stamina bar to still work with, but iPro, knowing that head damage is already there. You see one tap there, Q, and his head is already at half HP. Like, you have to play so careful if you are Majiq.
Magic's going to have to try and keep that range and have to pick some opportunities, but at the same time, when those opportunities present themselves, you've got to move forward with a sense of urgency. I would almost dare say you've got to play a little bit reckless and overcommit to your combos here, just in the sense of you got to get something moving, because you're going to need more than just one knockdown. You're going to need a few, and you needed to get them like right now.
And I feel like iPro, you just talk about the skill and that ability to kind of move away from allowing those opportunities to fall through for Majiq, not pushing into the corner anymore, not allowing him to get all that damage, and just playing towards these later rounds, the jabs, connecting again, and Magic's head taking some more damage, those cuts being an exposed pressure up towards that ceiling, and another one towards the face puts Majiq in danger.
You can see the red bar down there in that bottom left-hand corner. Magic's got to keep that distance here. It is going to start to regenerate and get back up there, and at least for now, going to be to safety. But every time ipro, especially leads to the left, and there it is, the opportunity, trying to be relentless with the hands here, and it's going to be a big left hook that's going to send him down to the ground here.
This is the third knockdown here for Majiq, and man, the hooks, the uppercuts, everything connecting towards the face, and you can try and defend, but when you're in that dazed state, it is absolutely so tough. It does look like we got our fighter not up, it's over, and the KOs continue. The ipro skill streak will go, and a winner by KO, moving to the grand finals, the #1 overall seed, ipro.
Well, we were talking about the need to go for a KO, but I don't think we were talking about it for ipro. It is ipro here. Go to this. I mean, scorecard really matters. We did see that they were leading in the fight, but man, talk about some big headshots there to be able to send him down to the ground, and that's a tough loss for Majiq.
And you look at the scorecard too, Q. You looked at actually Majiq was leading before that big 6th round, and where you saw that 3-point swing because of the double knockdown. We'll get to take a look at, once again, just the percentage of accuracy from ipro. He's 360 and 21 for.
So Raging, tell me, but what were you feeling, man? What were you seeing in that last fight there?
Guys, #1 thing I gotta say, man. #1 thing. Okay, the players got to ban people, right? Man, who does not ban Sugar Ray Robinson?
Right,
that's the first question I got. You know what I'm saying?
Woo!
The guy is the Terminator. You can't hurt the guy. So, hey, with that being said, I got to give it to Majiq, man. In those first couple rounds, you know what he did? He took advantage of the counter opportunities, man, and he was working ipro's body, man. Y'all saw the straights, the power straights to the body. You saw him getting some of those uppercuts off, both to the head and body. Majiq, man, he was shocking me at the beginning, man, because we all know ipro's kind of favorite to win this all. You know what I mean? He's a really good player, right? But, man, Majiq was putting a little scare on him, man, and I saw ipro being on the defensive a little bit. I don't know when the last time I saw that was, guys. You know, I seen ipro backing up. Majiq wasn't really pushing forward at all too much. It was pretty impressive at first, but I think, you know, as the fight continued, ipro kept working that jab. That jab opened up that cut, and that really started adding up in the damage. With ipro working that jab over and over and over, you know, that was starting to become a problem for Majiq, man.
I mean, it was a light switch kind of flip for me there after like round 5 or something. It kind of felt like, I don't know, maybe you feel this, as you can tell us as a player, Raging, that maybe you run somebody that's trying to maybe play for the scorecard, but then you realize, oh crap, I'm punching in bunches, I'm gonna lose after round number 8. Did you feel like you have to make a drastic choice there in round number 7 or 6 if you are Majiq to try and win this fight?
Well, it's tough. Like, I think Majiq had a good game plan originally. I think his game plan was to allow ipro to bring it to him and to counter back. Now, should he have changed the game plan? Maybe. But what it comes down to is you got to execute your game plan to perfection. You know what I'm saying? When you try and change the game plan, sometimes the way you play just isn't designed. Like, you know what I mean? Like the reflexes of the fingers with the controller, man. You can't just change because you don't play like that normally. You know what I'm saying? But all credit to Majiq, man. He put up a really good fight, man. I was pretty impressed with a lot of the counters he was landing. He landed a lot of counters on ipro. You know, if we could see each other, like as players, if we could see each other's head and body health, Majiq might have fought that a little bit differently had he had known how hurt he had ipro multiple times. You know what I'm saying? But ipro's really good at hiding how damaged he is. He just keeps pushing forward. He keeps bringing that jab. He keeps hitting you with them body shots. He's a tough opponent, guys. He's a really tough opponent.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like that last match that we just saw was really kind of like the pinnacle of like why you've got to make sure you're on top of your P's and Q's, because Majiq did have a really solid like first 4 or 5 rounds, and it was just towards the end of the 5th, it was like all of a sudden you were at the top of the cliff, and ipro finally figured things out and just really kind of shoved the snowball down the hill there. But I definitely going to be interested to see as far as ipro now kind of having 2 like early finishes. I mean, the only 2 non-ones that went the distance. Do you feel like, Raging, that if we see him go the distance, that could almost start to put a little bit of doubt in the grand finals if we see that grand finals go to 10, 11, 12, since we do get a little bit of a longer fight there in the grands.
I like the thought. But you guys see the way iPro plays, man.
Yeah.
It's if we're betting, man, there's a big payout on the going the distance. It doesn't even matter who wins, man. If you could take iPro 12 rounds, that's impressive, But yeah, the way iPro fights, he definitely adapts to his opponents all fight long. So, getting countered a couple times early, I do expect iPro to adjust and make the necessary adjustments to be able to finish the fight before 12. If it goes 12, I think that iPro, the adjustments he makes mid-fight will probably be enough to keep winning rounds and so on. You know what I mean? Like he's just so good at adjusting and taking advantage of, just the power of the boxers he uses. When you watch him use Sugar Ray Robinson, it's a little bit different than when he's using Amir Khan. You know what I mean? He's a very skilled, talented player. It's going to be tough for whoever's going to face him in the finals, I tell you guys. Oh, yeah.